I guess I'm on. I didn't hear the starting of it, but hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Jersey Shore podcast. That's SURE because we are always sure. And it's brought to you by the Great America's Pulse Network. So before we get started, I want to go into some breaking news today with Black Friday in New York City. There was some pro-Palestinian protesters that just disrupted everything. There's a little bit of issues with it, like the first 10 seconds with no volume, but you'll get it. So I just want to play this clip. I mean, you'll see the breaking news going across the bottom, but I want to play this video, and this is the breaking news for today.
Bombs are dropping! Bombs are dropping! Bombs are dropping! You piece of all of you are...
All right, you can cut it right there. All right, so we just cut it right there. There was more video, but I guess you probably seen enough. And this is what pisses me off. Most of the people there saying from the river to the sea, they're calling for the genocide of Jews. And everyone says there's a genocide in Palestine. Okay, well, it was a war, all right? So I think these people have no idea what the hell they're freaking talking about. You heard down with the KKK. Where's the KKK? Who's the last person? I want to know. Anybody that's in the chat can come on and say last time they saw a KKK member. I'm curious. I want to know. I've never seen one in my entire lifetime. I'm 44 years old, but I want to know where they're at, where they're gathering, where they have their hoods on, and everything else. It's propaganda, BS that they're doing, like in the Biden administration when they said that it's white supremacy is the biggest threat to democracy. Like, really, KKK? I mean, where? Show me where they're at, because they're not. I don't see them anywhere. They never stole my car. They never came and offended me. They never came and I never seen them hang somebody from a tree like they did back in the day. And that was some bad stuff. It really was. And I'm glad we're done with that. And we were so over it until the Democrats started pushing it back into the system, because they only and I'm gonna, you know what, I'm just going to go into my monologue because that's going to cover all of it. And because we have a good guest on tonight, my co-host Peter Sykes. And let me go through this monologue real quick, and I'll let you know what it's all about. So the episode that I have here is called FAFO, and you guys know what that means. You know what it means. So, and if you don't know what it means, the Democrats are about to learn the hard way, I would say, because this week they really crossed the line that no American, Republican or Democrat or independent, it doesn't matter, should never, ever tolerate. They released a political ad pushed by sitting members of Congress, literally telling our armed forces that they can ignore and defy illegal orders from the commander in chief. And let's be honest, they weren't talking about some hypothetical president. They were talking about President Donald J. Trump, the lawful commander in chief of the United States. And this is the modern Democrat Party, and this is what scares the shit out of me. It should scare the shit out of you. It's a party that thinks it can instruct the military to pick and choose which orders to follow, depending on like who sits in Oval Office. And so if it was Biden, no, it wouldn't be a problem. But it's Trump, that's a problem, and that's what it is. A party openly encouraging insubordination, a party flirting with sedition. They spent 4 years calling Trump a threat to democracy, and now they're coaching the military to undermine him. So FAFO, we're going to see what happens. And look what happened immediately after this rhetoric hit the airwaves. A man shot 2 members of the National Guard. You cannot separate the two. When politicians tell troops that they can ignore orders when they delegitimize the commander-in-chief, when they normalize rebellion, someone out there is going to listen. Someone unstable, people that are crazy, they're going to hear that and go, oh, I'm going to do this for my country because they hear our elected officials saying it. It'll be someone violent. And the Democrats know this. They count on it. They thrive on chaos. That's what they thrive on, because chaos is the fuel for socialism. Break anything, blame Republicans, and swoop in and pretend, to be the saviors. That is their strategy. If you guys don't see it, you have to start looking at it. They want chaos, and they want to make themselves look like they're the saviors to come in. So, and this is what brings me to the second thing they destroyed: public safety. A young woman on the subway was lit on fire by a man who had 72 arrests, multiple felony convictions, and he's walking free. And as if Chicago Democrats consider crime like a personality quirk. Under their soft on crime insanity, criminals and victims are collateral damage. They let these predators roam the streets, then act shocked when innocent people get hurt or killed. Now, I don't know, no matter what they say, this is not compassion. This is not justice reform. This is flat out negligence. Democrats created this crime wave, and now they're losing control of it. And that brings us to the final insanity of the affordability lie that I talked about on Monday. Democrats can't stop talking about affordability like they're the heroes swooping in to save struggling families. But they're the ones who created the affordability crisis. Under Biden, before Trump returned, we watched inflation explode to 23%. Gas, groceries, electricity, rent, everything skyrocketed. Why? Because Democrats opened the border, flooded our country with millions of illegal immigrants, and then spent billions trying to give them health care, housing, and benefits. Then came the government shutdown. Democrats caused it. It was their own shutdown, but they lied to the public and branded it a Republican shutdown because they wanted to scare, low propensity voters, that are on SNAP to turn out and vote. And it worked. But they lied to everyone, said it was a Republican shutdown because the mainstream media backed them on that. And that's what it was. But now the shutdown has really exposed a real problem. So 189,000 dead people are still collecting SNAP benefits. Who's it going to? Who's collecting? But it's still getting shipped out. It's your taxpayer dollars, and you have hundreds of thousands of people that are double dippers that are getting multiple benefits in multiple states. Billions of fraud and abuse paid for by you, the taxpayer, who can barely afford groceries. And these same Democrats have the nerve to look into TV cameras and talk about affordability. So I say no. They don't care about affordability. They care about power. They care about votes. They care about control. They're no longer the Democrat Party. They are the Socialist Party. And socialism always ends in the same way: broken systems, broken families, broken cities, and broken trust. So tonight, we're going to break all of this down for you. How Democrats told the military to defy President Trump, how their soft on crime madness is burning our cities alive, how their affordability scam is built on lies, fear, and fraud. This is FAFO. And tonight, the Democrats are going to find out. So I want to go into our first segment here. Our first segment is breaking. Violence follows after Democrats their message again. So every time they have a message, they put it out there. They're playing with fire, and that's why I named this Hammer segment this. And I want to bring on my special guest, who was my co-host on the radio show, Peter Sykes, my man.
Hey, Damon, how you doing, brother?
Good. Looking good. Well, looking good. Well, not as good as without your suit, buddy.
Hey, I'm not a candidate right now, man. I'm back to being me. You know, that's all I can say.
Well, you put up a good fight, man. You got 27,000 votes.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't enough, but such is life, my guy. You know, it is what it is. So we'll see what happens in the next round.
But I'm just looking at all this stuff. I mean, the rhetoric that the Democrats put out. I mean, you look at that and see what happened with Charlie Kirk, and you look and see what happens with everything, with the riots and it doesn't matter what it is. When they come out and they say things, they make it okay for these lunatics to come out and do things like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's very unfortunate, bro. I mean, I don't know why they have to keep being that way. They want to continue to push the violence. You know, if you think about it, right, and you're looking at you know, who's controlling the world or who's doing whatever, you know, they want us in a civil war. You know, that's what they want, Damon. It's unfortunate, right? Reduce the population. They want us fighting amongst ourselves. They said that America could never be destroyed from the outside, it has to be destroyed from the inside. So they're undermining and trying to create division. Well, they've been doing that, you know, but they always try to preach that violence. And I mean, it's just it's very unfortunate to find ourselves where we're sitting right now.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you a question after this clip, this ad the Democrats that put out there. Let's play this next clip.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army.
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Now, Pete, and the listeners out there, I know most of you probably saw that already, but we haven't been on since the holidays. But so you go on, like and subscribe, and there's a chat box if you guys want to ask a question or say something about this. Because Pete, I'm telling you right now, that drives me nuts. That sloth-looking Mark Kelly guy from Goonies. I mean, really. And he's going to say that it's so divisive. It's unbelievable. I can't. What do you think about that?
Well, they've been doing the divisiveness the whole time, right? The past 10 years, they've been calling Trump a Nazi, a fascist, a Hitler, you know, all these negative things. Then they go ahead and Biden was out there calling the MAGA Republicans the greatest threat to democracy right across the bridge over there in Philly, right? With the red backdrop looking just like Hitler or Stalin himself.
And I built that Constitution Center. It pissed me off, too.
You know, this is their game, bro. And look, they're trying to appeal to these young kids because most of the people in our military are probably relatively young. You know, they're trying to make up what's going on. Nobody really knows because if you watch this media channel, you're getting, you know, nonsense. If you watch this media channel, you're getting something else. I mean, you know, nobody knows. We all live in our own little bubbles, you know, and it's just people are trying to make up their minds and find out what's real, what's really going on. And, you know, it's funny. They continue to say the Constitution throughout that entire clip. You know, I don't think the Democrats care about the Constitution at all.
No.
I think they see it as an inconvenience.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I think you're right about that because it's in their way. They will do anything to shred the Constitution, and they use it against the people and say, "Oh, well," and they lie and say, "Oh, it's a threat to democracy." Well, you know what? The United States is a constitutional republic. It's not a democracy. Okay, that's what it is, and that's just a fact. So I'm pissed, Pete. I really am because you have 2 National Guard and shot. One died, I believe. The woman died.
the young lady, yeah, I think she was only 20 years old.
Yeah, until this is what it caused from them for their rhetoric. I'm not saying it was a direct thing to this, but I'm not calling them out. I'm not saying that they were the reason why somebody shot. But this is what it leads to. The stuff that they talk about and say this. Why do it? Why go out there and say defy orders like we're in trouble or something like that? And to where it's like, okay,
Well, they are in trouble, you know, because we're waking up. That's the problem. The Democrats are in trouble, right? And they're trying to hold on to their power with everything that they got, you know, and people are waking up to it. You know, that's why our side is growing. I mean, now we got the Civil War over here on our side, which isn't good. I mean, it's hurting our numbers, but you know, we were thriving, we were growing, especially after Charlie Kirk. You see all the TPUSAs open up. I mean, you know, our side was getting bigger, and we took control. Donald Trump won the popular vote, right? So I mean, we were making moves, and they're trying to undermine that. And it's funny they kept saying, you know, oh, they're coming after us, they're coming after American citizens. Look, ICE is over there trying to get illegals out. They are not American citizens.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
So now, but this is what it causes. Let's play this next clip right now.
The video, this was clearly shot from an office building from an upper window. You can see the glass is broken out. You can see what believes to be police officers struggling with someone, and also what could be a victim. You know what, we just don't know. You can clearly see the broken glass there that probably was shattered as a result of the shooting. Again, this.
But definitely looks like National Guardsmen involved,
Absolutely.
Perhaps transit police, even a citizen just in plain clothes responding to the scene. And, you know, we don't want to get into too much detail. It just looks like somebody is helping either the victims.
It looks very much like it looks like you can see one victim down in camouflage, and then I believe where we're seeing all those officers on top, it looks like that's where that's very much looks to me like they're putting that person in cuffs. That would be, even when when a suspect is shot and injured, the police still put them in cuffs for safety.
So Pete, I want you to tell me one thing. Looking at that, all right, off of the rhetoric that they spewed. Now, has the National Guard or anything that the Republicans have done caused anything like that? No, they made crime has dropped by like 50% in Washington, D.C. since they've been there. They're just showing a presence. Have you seen anyone the National Guard is like arresting and throwing in cages or anything like that? The way they make it sound like they are. No, they're standing there, and the criminals are like, ah, shit. You know, I can't go out and hijack cars, you know, from people right now, because you have a presence and it's been working. But then when they say this stuff, then you have the crazy or whoever the hell he was. We'll find out more later. Come out and just shoot him in broad daylight. It's horrible.
Well, you know, once again, right? I mean, from what we know right now, that guy was from Afghanistan. Okay, so he was not an American citizen. He came over. He was a collaborator. He worked with the military over there, right? The CIA, doing kind of these covert ops or whatever. And you know, they brought him back after the botched Afghanistan withdrawal, right? And apparently, some of his unit came with him. You know, now this guy is on the streets out here. We don't know who he is. We don't know where he is because nobody keeps track of him. That wasn't an American citizen that did that. That wasn't an American soldier that killed those 2 people. That was an illegal alien who came in under, you know, the disguise at night, right? He came in on the planes, flown over here, and was just released into the country. And I'm pretty sure it was General Flynn, but I might be off, who was just sitting there and saying that this guy has other people in his unit. We don't know where they are right now either. So be prepared for more attacks like this. And now, once again, this goes back to the Biden administration. Is this just incompetency, or is this malicious? Right?
I would say malicious. I mean, they're saying there could be more sleeper cells out there, but it was, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know everything. I can't put my finger on all of it. But all I know for a fact is that we had wide open borders. Biden had that, botched, Afghanistan withdrawal, brought people over, didn't vet anybody that came into this country. So we're doing our best to try to deport people, the worst of the worst. And of course, people are going to get caught up in who are illegal that aren't the worst of the worst. But
when you have 10 to 20 million come in illegally in 4 years, I'm sorry, they all gotta go. We can't bear that brunt.
Yeah, we can't afford things on our own. And
that's it.
And the whole, we'll get to the shutdown thing in the third segment too. We'll dive deep into that, but it's just unbelievable. I don't understand. All listeners out there, I hope you just talk to your friends that are Democrats. Tell them to watch the show if they will, but they probably won't. But at least talk to them and say, listen, this is why we're where we're at. This is a major problem. So
but the majority now, look, you can get some Democrats that'll listen, right, to reason, and you can kind of shape them. A lot of them, man, are just in their bubble, and they won't believe anything that we have to say, even with proof. You just show them the proof right there on your phone, and they're not gonna buy it.
Yeah,
they're not gonna buy it.
No, you're right about that, buddy. You are, and it's sad. So I'm willing to listen to anybody. I would love for a Democrat to come on the show and have a conversation. I would love it. So anybody out there that may be a Democrat, I would love for you to come on the show. I'll have a cordial conversation with you. You can talk to me and whatever, talk to you if you're on a radio show, whatever it may be.
It'll wind up turning into a screaming match, though, bro. That's the problem. As soon as you get to one point and you get something that they have to see it, right? They have to realize that, hey, hold on, you got a point. They're gonna get mad and start yelling. I mean, it's unfortunate, right? You have to find ways to chip out at that, you know what I mean, and find different pieces of the conversation. And definitely don't mention the T-Man, because that ain't gonna go over well.
Yeah. Then
that ain't gonna go over well.
Then they don't see red, they see orange.
Yeah.
But no, there's one more clip in the segment I want to play too. This is how crazy it's getting in this country. So let's roll the next clip.
A Colorado family is suing its local school district after they say their 11-year-old daughter was assigned a shared hotel bed on a school trip with a male student who allegedly identified as female. They say the Jefferson County Public School District told parents that boys and girls would be rooming on different floors. But according to the parents, that did not happen. That lawsuit cites the district's policy stating that students' gender identity, not sex assigned at birth, determines where they stay during overnight school.
Now, Pete, let me ask you something. If that was your daughter, and that is what the school told you, it'd be by just not what they're assigned by birth, but they lied to you, and there's a 11-year-old boy sleeping in the bed with your 11-year-old daughter. What would happen? Is that me? I'd be in jail.
I don't know, man, but it wouldn't be good, regardless of whatever it was. You can't get away with this. You cannot continue to allow this to happen. You can't, regardless. And see, that's why I keep saying the great lie. Damon, that's why I keep saying it's the great lie, because you're forcing people to believe your lie. And it's not good, man. This is not for children. They should have nothing to do with this. And the fact that people continue to push this on the children is just it's disgraceful, is really what it is.
It is. I mean, I could never see that happen. If that happened to my daughter, and there was more to that clip. Hey, buddy, be quiet for a second, buddy. My son is talking too loud. So, but buddy, shh. I love you.
Skedaddle.
Skedaddle. So
scram.
So I usually lock the door, but I didn't want to lock him out this time. But anyway, but it's your child, and if my daughter ever went through something like that, and the more of the clip said that the daughter called her parents and she was crying in the bathroom and she was scared because it was an actual boy saying that it was a girl, and the school just said, "Hey, that's identified as." So that's
you see, I'm going to pick my baby up if she's calling me on the phone and saying that bullshit. I'm in a car. I'm on my way.
Oh, they did. They went up.
And then you're right. I'm raising hell. Everybody's gonna know.
Yeah, but I would go up to those teachers at school board, and like I said, I don't know if I can control myself because like, what do you lie?
That's why I say look, I don't want to find myself in that position, even though we live here in New Jersey, and you just never know. I try to be very, very vigilant with my children. I mean, 9 and 7, I'm already having to kind of, walk around things with them and introduce. That's why I say my 7-year-old is about to be my politician, but
he is.
I'm telling you, brother. Yeah, she could argue with the best of them.
My mom told me yesterday that Gianna, she said, she'll win Congress before you do.
Yes, I like that. But no, it's just look, man, you don't want to envision what you would do in that situation. But you're right, something bad would happen.
Yeah.
Something bad would absolutely happen. There would be hell to pay.
All right, people, listen, well, we're going to go on our first break. We're going to Hammer 2 after this, so let's take a quick break. And everybody likes and subscribe, and you can go in the chat box. If you got any questions or any statements, anything you want to ask, have at it.
The APN's The Pulse Podcast is hosted by Alexandra Levine from the Alexandra Levine Life Podcast. And Damon Galdo from the Jersey Shore Podcast. And Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner Podcast. Also, there will be 2 additional guests on every episode. The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Hammer segment number 2 on the Jersey Shore Podcast. Again, you're listening, like and subscribe, and you can also go into the chat and ask some questions, whatever it may be, and we'll see it. This segment is, I named it Soft on Crime Loon Wing. The reason why I named it that is Senator Kennedy. He calls them the Loon Wing, the lefties. So
I thought you were drinking. I don't know.
No. Kennedy called me. He said the Loon Wing. He says it all the time. I was just watching something with him. He said the Loon Wing. That's what he says. He's funny as hell. He has the different. He's the one that says the reason they put directions on shampoo bottles is AOC. That's why. So he comes up with a lot of good stuff. It's funny, but this is horrible. I mean, we all saw the girl from Ukraine on the subway. What happened?
Irina Zarutsky?
Yes, yeah, with the crazy guy just out of nowhere just stabbed her in the neck and she died. And he was arrested multiple times. I mean, they let people out of jail because they're soft on crime policies. And this is the left. They're left-wing judges and left-wing prosecutors or left-wing attorneys generals. And that's a major problem. And there's nothing really in this clip that you're going to see something, but it's nothing too bad. You're going to see how it started. This guy lit this girl on fire. Her name is Bethany McGee. She was on the subway, and some guy that was arrested 72 times, and convicted of, I think it was 8 felonies total, is still out. And I don't know how you even, they have pictures of him filling up his gas can at the gas station. And then I don't think I have that here, but they show him on the subway. Like, who goes on the subway with gasoline in the gas can? And he just pours it on her head, and she runs, but he already had the flame lit, and it was horrible. So I'm going to play this clip. Like I said, it's not that graphic. It just shows just different parts of it. But yeah, this is where we're at. So let's roll that clip.
We now know the identity of the woman set on fire during a horrific attack on a commuter train. She's 26-year-old Bethany McGee, a business analyst. Her father is a college professor of biblical studies. Cops say this lunatic poured gasoline over Bethany on a Chicago L train as she sat looking at her phone 7 days ago. Bethany tried to fight off her attacker and fled to the back of the train, but cops say the crazed man followed with a lit bottle and set her ablaze.
The female was just set on fire.
Police say Bethany, who is nearly fully engulfed in flames, tried to extinguish herself by rolling around on the floor of the train. As soon as the train came to a stop, Bethany ran out and collapsed on the platform, where bystanders tried to help and called the fire department. Bethany had burns covering 60% of her body. This photo captured her attacker strolling away. Today, outrage is growing after it was revealed that the suspect, 50-year-old Lawrence Reed, is a career criminal with 72 prior arrests.
Pete, I mean, there's not a lot that anyone can say about that, but where are we at?
Number one, you know, look, people need to start sitting on the back corner with their eyes forward. I mean, like Elena was saying the last time we were discussing this, right? This is not the time. First of all, it's not the time to be riding the subway, you know, first and foremost. But secondly, if you're going to ride the subway, you need to go ahead and make sure that you're protecting yourself, because this keeps happening. Where was that at, Damon, did it say?
That was in Chicago.
In Chicago. And the other one was in North Carolina. So, you know, I mean, any place that these subways are, man, if you're a young woman, you're going to be doing this, you know, women in general, because I don't think they're trying this with men. You know, unfortunately, the what seems to be the pattern in these things is young white women.
Yeah, and listen, and the way it is with the racial divide here, we were, like I said, we were over racism for the most part. I mean,
at least close, yeah.
Yeah, and then you know it was just about over. We just played a clip. Well, we played the first episode of The Pulse. And one thing I mentioned in there was Morgan Freeman. And when he said, he was asked about racism. He said, why? He said, well, don't talk about it. That's how it goes away. But, and again, I'm sorry, it's the Democrats that brought it back because they do it for votes. I mean, you know, LBJ and all that stuff started back then. And it was just a snowball effect of the Democrats saying, okay, well, we need this vote. We need this vote. And that's how they get in power, is they divide. Now, I'm not saying every Republican is great and they don't do the same thing in other ways, but it was almost gone. And now when you see that ad that we played in the first segment about the, you know, defying orders, and then stuff like that happens, you get two people, National Guard was shot, one died, the other one may die, we don't know yet. And then you see the girl getting stabbed in the neck for no reason, you know, and died just somebody just because it's a racial divide and that person's fucking crazy, and that's how you get the crazies out there. When you talk about something, especially when you're an elected official and you push it over and over, and I'm like, oh, this right there, crazy people will do that. And now this poor girl got lit on fire for no reason. It's unbelievable, Pete. I don't know how to really take it, other than if they want the Civil War, is that what we're going to get?
Well, we're getting it on every side, right, Damon? That's what's happening.
Yeah.
We're getting on that. We're getting on every side, right? So you know, look, it's all about creating the victim classes, right? That's what they're doing. They continue to perpetuate the victimhood, keep pushing it, shout your victimhood, tell everybody you're a victim. You know, this is the hierarchy now. This is how we're going to, you know, judge victimhood. And, you know, they continue to let these people loose out on the streets, right? So it's you know, they're pushing that on regular people to create a divide, but then they throw in the chaos by throwing these criminals out on the street as well, right? 70 arrests, the other guy that many arrests. I mean, it's you know, these people need like a mental, you know, institution, you know, and instead they got rid of those. They throw them inside the jails, you know, and they just continue to create more and more and more crime. You know, and that's really causing a lot of the chaos that's going on, because look, you said it earlier, create the problem, and then when everybody's had enough, provide the solution.
Yeah, and that's what they do. And I need to look at that. I'm begging people to look into that. and create the problem, and then they come in with the solution, and that's manipulation, and that's what they do. And I'm not. It's definitely more on the Democrat side than the Republican side. I'll say that. I can guarantee that. I'm not saying Republicans are the best in the world. There's some bad Republicans. There's bad people everywhere. But I would say our party is more in the right direction than the Democrats. They went way too left, far, the Loon wing, as Senator Kennedy says it. But when is enough, man? I don't know the answer to it. It's just.
Well, I would say this, Damon. There are still very much people in the Republican Party who are of that established uniparty. All right, absolutely, right. When you look at these senators that have been around for, God knows how long. Lindsey Graham, Charlie Kirk said, let's primary Lindsey Graham because he's part of this club. And the Democrats are definitely controlled by that. And I think this goes back to 1963. We talk about it all the time.
We're 10th.
This manifesto capture one or both political parties. Well, they had both of them captured. And then Donald Trump came in. And, look, I still hold to that. And I pray for that. And, we'll see how it turns out. Because, like I said, maybe he's being led a little bit establishment way himself as well. I hope he's, not captured. But I just have a feeling that once they shot at him, I mean, that was a turning point for him, right? I mean, you're on the ground, your mortality flashes between your eyes, your life there, and okay, what are we gonna do? And right now I feel like he's playing ball, but he's such a bull in a china shop that you push him far enough, and he's gonna come roaring back. And I'm praying that that's what winds up happening.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that's what happened. I think that's what's going to happen. You think about it, I said it multiple times before. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to put him in jail. They tried to kill him. They tried all kinds of stuff.
Character assassination on top of everything else, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing. I mean, you always talk about the globalists and
the hand that rocks the cradle.
Yeah, and. Yeah, I'm sure it's out there. There's people that control things. And I think when Trump got in, he disrupted everything. They never thought he was going to beat Hillary. And they were mocking him. And then somehow he won. And we're like, holy shit. So then I know they cheated in 2020. There's no way, Biden got that many votes, the most any president ever did in history. So they and we had COVID that hit too, so they were able to cheat even more. But then he comes roaring back and he wins, and they're like, "Oh, we can't stop this guy," and they try to kill him twice. So, and that's what it is. No, maybe he's like, "Let me take a step back." I don't know. I can't put my. I'm not there. I don't know.
Listen. It's one of those things. It's like every time you're done, he just pulls you right back. I mean, I don't know.
So. Yeah, I know, but it's getting out of hand, man, in this country. My main thing is I want people to listen to this show, and I want them to just open their eyes and say, hey, listen, I'm not just going to be controlled by mainstream media and just believe everything they say. Because if you really look into it, you can look at Fox News Max, you look at MSNBC, you can look at whatever it may be. There's they are biased. I would say Fox will tell you that they'll lean one way. They'll say they are biased, but then the other media they won't say it. They say they're just giving you the real news, and they'll pick and choose what they're going to give you. But they're the mainstream legacy media that most people watch, and they buy it. I just implore people to look at podcasts, look at different channels that are on the news, and just open your minds.
Go find your media source. Yep. Go find your independent media source where people take time and analyze. You get to hear different opinions. People hold your hand and walk you through the situations, what they mean. I mean, yeah, you're right, bro. That's the way we need to go.
Yeah. Well, look at this. I'm going to play this next clip. That's how crazy it's getting too. This is lawsuit from parents, I believe, too, on this one. Let's play this one. Oh, no.
A Colorado family is suing its local school district after they say their 11-year-old daughter was assigned a shared
already,
hotel
right?
bed
Yeah,
on
this
a
one was
school
the
trip
yeah,
with
this
a
one-
male
this is the
student
one
who
we played
allegedly
already.
identified
The other one was
as
the school
female.
board one.
They say the Jefferson County Public School District told
So,
parents that boys and
right
girls
again,
would be
but-
rooming on different floors. But according to the parents, that did not happen. That lawsuit
I don't
cites
know
the
if our
district's
producer can hear
policy
it right
stating
now, but it wasn't this one. The one was the school board one where the one was getting death threats, and they were from New Jersey. There's one from New Jersey, and she is a Republican, and she got text messages from other school board members saying that they wish she would die, and want to kill her. So she is in a fight with that right now. Those people are still not dismissed from the school board yet. They're not fired, but they should be soon. I would hope. But this just came out. This is right here in our state. School board members that are Democrats don't like what she's saying, and they texting her directly, saying, I don't want to kill you. I can't wait till you die. I mean, where are we, man? Really?
Well, there's two tiers of justice right now, right? I mean, it's still, look at the Daniel Penny thing. I mean, he's saving all those people on a train, and they go ahead and they tried to sacrifice them. No, you can't go and save people on a train. And then look at all the violence that we just keep seeing on trains. And the one person that could have saved them, we need Daniel Penny to patrol these trains all day, and they tried to throw him in jail for murder charges.
We need Daniel Penny. He needs to be Department of Transportation trains. So that's what we need.
But then you see, look, they dropped cases against Letitia James and CIA
Comey.
director. Comey. I mean, once again, bro, it's just no accountability. That's why we voted for Trump. We want accountability.
Well, they found, again, it was a loophole that they found around it, that the prosecutor was not able to charge them with it. But I guarantee you they're going to get charged again. They're going to figure it out. I'm going to bet money on that one, because Comey is a scumbag. James, she went after Trump and campaigned on it. I'm going to take down Donald Trump. Not that I'm going to make New York City safer or work for my constituents and all that. No, I'm going to take down Trump. Like, really? That's we're campaigning on? No, it's not.
That's all they campaign on. That's all they campaign on. There's nothing else. They have nothing else.
I know, but it works. You look, see what happened in Virginia, in New Jersey, New York City. The government shutdown, which we're going to get to in a minute. And while I say that right now, let's take a quick break and we'll go in the third segment.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Now, the end of that right there, that is our motto, and that's what we stick by. So thank you, everyone, for still tuning in, and welcome back to Jersey Shore Podcast, SURE. And again, if you guys want to chat, you can put something in there. We'll see it, and we'll talk about it soon. But thank you for watching and listening. But Pete, this segment is it's like this shutdown scam is what it is. So what they did when they shut it down, and we talked about it earlier, that the mainstream media called it the Republican shutdown, Democrats called it that, but it wasn't. I mean, you can elaborate on it. Why wasn't it why wasn't the Republican shutdown?
Because all the Republicans voted to open it up, and they only needed 7 Democrats to cross over the line, and they all refused.
I figured I'd throw you an easy
orders told them not to.
I figured I'd throw you an easy one. So.
Hey, did I get it right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But they screwed us though. Here in New Jersey, anyway, they had a lot more people came out to vote. Lower propensity voters that their own SNAP came out to vote. We believe a lot of illegals came out to vote, and I don't know what is wrong with our party as far as election integrity. We found, well, not we, but we know
they found.
Yeah, they found, but told us how many voters didn't live in the state or were dead and that were with the mail-in ballots, and our GOP didn't act on it.
There was at least 30,000 of them, right? Wasn't it? It was a big number.
It was close. It wouldn't have been enough to change the election, but it was still. I don't care if it was.
That's only the ones that they were able to catch, right? That's only the ones that we kind of know about.
Yeah, well, it was it was about 30,000, but I don't care if it was one. It should be handled.
Agreed. You can't keep going on like this, man, or New Jersey is cooked. I mean, that's it. We have to figure out a way to clean this up. And the problem is, Damon, if we don't win, we can't get in there and fix it, right? And they won't let us win. So what do you do?
Keep on fighting, or we look at the homestead. We'll talk about that later. But no. So I want to play this next clip about the SNAP fraud. One thing that came out of it is they found 189,000 people that were dead, still collecting it. That's our taxpayer dollars going to somebody who knows where it's going. And we're going to play another clip after that too as well. But let's just roll this one. We'll talk about it.
Now says that everyone who's on SNAP is going to have to reapply. Now, this happened, of course, when the government shut down and there was, the SNAP benefits were not getting out to the people.
For 42 million Americans.
For 42 million. Well, we thought Americans.
Inside the country.
People is probably the better. Yep. People. And so Brooke Rollins, we had her on, and we had a great conversation with her where she said, hey, listen, this whole SNAP benefits conversation around the shutdown has sort of pulled the curtain back, and people are seeing how many people are on SNAP that aren't actually citizens, and they're going to have to reapply. What do you make of this? I think it's very popular, especially if you go online and look at what people think. I think it's a popular initiative to say these benefits are for Americans. Is she going to be able to accomplish this? Is she going to have some legal challenges to it? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm sure. Everything that comes from the Trump administration, I just track it and see how long it takes for it to land in the Supreme Court. So there are going to be legal challenges. But the thing is, most of these programs with SNAP are administered by the states. And a lot of the states do have verification programs where people have to update every 3 to 6 months or, really establish that they got some kind of need. But maybe she's proposing something at the federal level that would then have a federal component for, applying and proving that you actually need this. Because I think all of us are compassionate Americans. Like, we want our fellow Americans to get help when they need it. And we've all known people, if not our own families, that have walked through these periods of needing this kind of help. But Secretary Rollins also said that she found there were 186,000 checks or SNAP benefits going out to people who were dead. So if that's accurate, that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. And there are other problems with the program, too. So I think a lot of Americans would say, gosh, I didn't realize before we were having this conversation there were 42 million people on these benefits. Maybe it's, not such a bad idea.
Well, there you go, Pete. And everyone out there that's a Democrat, Democrat shutdown, thank your Democrats, because everyone out there that's collected multiple checks from dead people or anything else, I'm sure you're probably a Democrat. You're the ones that came out and voted. But thank your party for having the shutdown, exposing the bullshit and the fraud, because now they're going to go after it, and you're going to lose your double dipping. You're going to lose whatever it is that's not legal, and maybe save me, you money, Pete, or whatever it may be. But look at that, Democrats. That's what you voted for.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, Damon, is she said it a couple of times. We're compassionate, people, right? We are. We want to help people in need.
100%.
Everybody goes through times of need. However, it was never ever supposed to be lifestyles.
No,
you know, it's we need everyone to be a contributing member of society. You know, and when you get things for free all the time, there's no reason for you to get out and try. You know, and you want to talk about breeding discontent. I mean, when you know your middle class families are struggling to put food in the refrigerator, and then you see these videos of people out there dancing because they're just got $3,000 a month to use on nothing but food. You know, and I mean, it's not the way it was supposed to be. Then they artificially raised the minimum wage. They doubled it, right, from $7-8 up to $15-16, 20 in some places. You know, they didn't raise middle class, you know, checks up at all, right? We didn't get a pay raise, you know. So I mean, all they did is they took the middle class, the lower class, and they raised the floor up, you know. And I mean, we're just struggling even more now. And like you said, they're giving 186,000 dead people receiving these benefits. Like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I'm glad it came out to light because it's waste, fraud, and abuse. And I don't feel like paying that. And you're right about the minimum wage. When you can't just over double the minimum wage, and then you can't just completely double inflation under Biden when he did 23%. It was supposed to be 2% a year. So he quadrupled.
We also printed, I think they say, what, half of the money in circulation now is printed after 2020?
Yes.
Half? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we're $39 trillion in debt. And this is all, listen, again, I will tell you, some of it happened under Republican administrations as well. In the year 2000, we were $5 trillion in debt. And in the year 2000, the country was 225 years old, roughly. And then we accumulated $5 trillion. Now we're $39 trillion.
Well, you know, brother, I told you
years.
before Trump, I still think that we were in that uniparty regime. It didn't matter who was in there; they were doing what they wanted. You know what I mean? It was they're all part of the same club. They were doing what they wanted to do, and this is the way we're moving the world. You know, but now it's just, man, like it's baffling.
Yeah, I know it is. It's nuts, man. I can't believe that amount of fraud and abuse. Like, so I'm just going to say to the Democrats that went out and voted the way they voted, you just exposed. No, I'm not saying you, but people that you probably know that are collecting double the benefits because they're collecting from a dead person's name, or they're doubling it up because they filed twice in different areas. But yeah, I'm glad they exposed it. I'm glad they exposed the fraud and abuse, and hopefully it cuts down because people like us and listeners out there, you know, especially in the state of New Jersey, we're struggling. The groceries are still high, and I said before, the inflation, when inflation happens, it's very hard. You're not bringing down the prices afterwards when you get a new administration. I mean, I know Trump brought down the price of eggs. He brought down gas. And that's an easy one when you drill, baby, drill. But once things are already inflated, they don't go down. You have to wait for wages to catch up to it. And the only thing that's catching up is Governor Murphy, minimum wage, more than doubling it. And that cuts out from the middle class, who is the engine that drives this country and drives the state as well. And that's where we're going wrong. That's what we're missing. That's what we're going to fail.
Yeah. You know, like you said, I mean, we're the ones out there doing the work. We're the ones that you know, look, we used to be able to obtain the American dream, right? The house with the white picket fence. I mean, bro, they're stealing it from us. They're stealing it from our kids. Well, yeah, that's the one. If we don't change it now, they'll never be able to obtain that dream.
Yeah, and I'm just begging people to pay attention to it. Well, I had Joe Saturday on Monday, along with Jason Cullen. Joe Saturday is a young Republican, and these young Republicans, they are the future of this country. They're recognizing all this. They can't afford houses. They got, you know, I can barely afford. You know, I said it multiple times. My house, because the rent is too damn high. Well, it's my mortgage. But, and I'm working my butt off, but I will do what I have to do, and that's fine. But when you're a young person that either getting out of college or out of high school, and you want to go to work at a job, All right, yeah, fine. Did they raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour? But the minimum wage was basically for high school kids to work at, like, say, McDonald's or something like that. It was just for them. It wasn't a career. It was just something that they would do to make some money for themselves while they were in high school or right after high school until they figured out what they were going to do.
And low-skilled workers as well. Low-skilled workers, right, that'll go in there. They can eventually build up and become the manager.
Oh,
or something like that, right?
or that, and then become managers too, and they will make more money. Yes, I knew. I worked at McDonald's when I was 14 for almost a year, and yeah, the manager was there for 15 years, but she was like the big boss, and she and she made a good career out of it and good money.
And I'm sure she had a nice house at that point in time, right?
Yes,
I mean,
she did. But the people that rotated through were usually younger people until they decided what they want to do. So that's what the minimum wage is for people like that. But when you up it to where it went up to, you're just cutting out the middle class, and then you can't afford to buy stuff now. Like Starbucks, all these Starbucks are going out of business because they can't afford to pay the people because nobody wants to buy their $10 coffee because they had to raise the rates.
Well, look at McDonald's, like you said. I mean, it's $55 over there for a meal for four now.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, shit, I remember the dollar menu. I mean, what are we talking about?
When I was younger, I used to live off the dollar menu.
Me
Like,
too.
the dollar menu, it only disappeared about a few years ago. It was like, I think it was like 4 or 5
now
years
it's ancient history.
Yeah, that there's no dollar menu. I went with my wife and kids. We went to McDonald's. We're like, okay, well, we're not cooking tonight. And my son was like, we want McDonald's. We go and we ordered. It's a meal for all four of us, and it was like $56. I'm like, what? This is McDonald's. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So, I said it's now the $5 meal. Our producer just put up there and said it's now the $5 meal instead of $1.
It's a $5 menu, is what it is. It's a $5 menu. You know what I mean? But it's just it's crazy to see that we've come this way. And I'll tell you what, McDonald's is horrible anyway. All those fast food chains are horrible. Is really going ahead and
don't knock McDonald's. It does taste good, but it's bad for you.
No, bro, it's styrofoam. They say you could throw those buns out in the backyard and they'll never disintegrate. All right, it's all jelly in that little patty that they didn't know. Bad. Once upon a time,
I know you're a nurse, so you're looking out for yourself.
Well, no, but regardless, right? It's poison, is what they're doing. All this fast food, this processed high sodium garbage. I mean, and people lived on that because it's convenience and it was cheap, and that's why we have a lot of the health problems that we have right now.
Well, okay. Well, that's a whole different argument too. Yes.
Well, my bad. Look, it's
no, you're right about it. But I'm just saying it's a whole. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Everything is connected, Damon.
Nobody's eating McDonald's right now anyway that much.
I just heard some. I don't know if it's verified, but they might be giving EBT. You can get McDonald's on the EBT.
You mentioned that. I can't.
I heard it somewhere earlier. I did not go back and look. You're not supposed to be able to get hot food on an EBT
or
card.
Prepared food, So I don't know. We'll have to be Jersey Shore about that. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I got to look that up. Damon will tell you next time.
But listen, I want to play this next clip because this is another reason why we're in trouble in this country. They're sending in Minnesota. I don't know if you heard about. They're sending all of the American tax dollars over to Somalia.
Yep.
So I'm going to roll this next clip.
House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, meanwhile, is calling to investigate a report published by the Manhattan Institute. It claims Minnesota tax dollars are being sent to Somalia and ending up in the hands of a terror group. Meanwhile, President Trump writing on Truth Social, I am, as President of the United States, hereby terminating effective immediately the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing.
So, Pete, we got that, and now I'm going to play the last clip of the night because we'll talk about both. So let's roll this next clip.
That brings us to this story. It's out of Minnesota, where an illegal migrant was apparently using a stolen identity to remain here in the United States, despite being deported 3 times, and it totally ruined another man's life.
Right, Todd Pyro talks about it. I think we can all put ourselves in the position of this guy and say, what if this happened to us? Take a listen. The New York Times reporting that this years-long case of apparent identity fraud, titling the piece, 2 Men, 1 Identity, they both paid the price. Now, in this piece, The Times argues that thousands of illegal immigrants rely on fraudulent security numbers to get by in our country. The problem is one of those fraudulent numbers belonged to a Minnesota father by the name of Dan Kluver. He's an upstanding citizen by all accounts. Time says he never fired a gun, missed a payment, or even been arrested for anything before. Quote, Kluver has lived in rural Minnesota for decades, but his social security number was being used for jobs in other parts of the country. He traced 15 years of records and found more tax documents listing unfamiliar jobs at a
So yeah, Pete. So between both of those, I mean, where's Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, with jazz hands?
He's AWOLs.
That's good. That's good. That's a good one. But yeah, he's not willing to talk about it. But that's the thing. We have people, well, not just Minnesota. It's all around the country, sending American taxpayer dollars. Well, I want to get to the bottom of why it's American taxpayer dollars. I don't know what it is. I know the illegals come over here and they send their money to whatever country it came from, to their families or whatever it may be. But it's like, okay, well, you came here illegally, and why you claim asylum? So why are you sending money back to that country? That makes no sense.
And a lot of these people found out, are finding themselves in position of government.
Well, yes,
right? Like the mayor or something, right? Isn't he?
Leon Omar. She's in Minnesota.
Yeah. So look, this
Somalia first is what she said.
Agreed, right? That's my president, not Donald Trump. This is my president, the Somali president. Look, that right there is undermining. That's why I say, Damon, you can't have multiple allegiances, bro. If you're gonna run for government in the United States, you have to be loyal to the United States.
You're correct at that. So keep on going. I want to look something up real quick.
No, that's fine. It's just, look, and then that other guy too, I can't think of what his name is, but he's out there as well. But they just continue to find themselves in these places of power and then do whatever they want. And it's just really, really unfortunate. Once again, like I said, this is what we're seeing here. We're watching, between Dearborn, Michigan, between, up here in Minnesota. They have a lot of the stuff going on down in Texas. I mean, it's like it's surrounding the outsides, and you're just going to watch us be forced into the middle, over the next, 10, 15, 20 years if we don't start pushing back and trying to reclaim America for Americans. And I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you come from Somalia. I don't care, right? And you come legally, you fill out all the paperwork, you pay the money, you do everything and get your citizenship the correct way. And then, you know what? If your children are born here and they want to run for government, by all accounts, okay, you grew up in America, right? But, I mean, you can't bring the third world here.
No, you can't. And the thing is, I'm going to be careful with this one because I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care about any of that. But if you look at the examples, a real example, like say when we talk about, Islamic law, how it clashes with like modern freedoms. Now, Islamic law and Sharia law and all that, it's very harsh. I mean, if you look at it, like since the Taliban took back power, they rolled out like the harshest set of restrictions on women, anywhere on earth, really. You can look it up, anywhere on earth. They banned most girls from secondary school and university. They banned most jobs for women. They restricted women's movement or like how they dress and their public life. I mean,
I've also heard that genital mutilation is up as well. You know what I mean? I know that's a thing. Now, that's not a religious thing. That's like certain countries and cultural kind things. But, bro,
United States.
Female genital mutilation. I mean, that's just horrible. Look, one of the big things, right, is like if you're going to come to America, you have to submit to American law. Now, the problem is right now is there's two different sets of laws depending on what you look like or what your citizen status is or what your political affiliation is. I mean, right, there's different laws for groups of people now, which is not correct. We have to fix that, all right, because there should be one set of laws for everyone living in America. This is how we're going to handle it. This is what we've done. This is what it's been since the beginning, and this is what we have to go back to, and especially the elites. right? They, like I say, once again, uniparty elites, the whatever, they can do whatever they want with no repercussions. You know, I mean, we're getting screwed if we jaywalk.
You're right.
You know, I mean, bro, this we can't continue to do this.
But that's the thing. That's why this country is falling apart, because we're allowing to. We talked about it before. If you come to this country, I don't care where you're from, you have to assimilate to the Western laws and the Western culture. And that's what you have to do. You can bring your culture with you and then have a part of that in your family.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that, but you have to live the way the United States was designed by our Constitution. You can't just come in here and with the mindset, like I was saying, like banning girls from school, and in Iran, they came up with compulsory hijab and harsh penalties. And in Iran, the Islamic Republican forces dress code on women through law and morality police. Women protested after this woman died, Masha Amina, in 2022 for allegedly wearing her hijab improperly. She wore it improperly, and she was arrested and she was killed for it. So the regime responded with mass arrest and killing protesters that protest. So it's like, and then they came out with a new chastity and hijab, and the law adds harsher penalties, including big fines and long prison sentences for not covering properly. So listen, you want to live that life and be Muslim, and that's fine. If you want to cover up and then have your man treat you like you're second rate and you're not really, like, you don't exist, and like, and they can't do anything. I don't get it. I know that they're stuck with that. They really are. But when you allow that to come to Western civilization, it ruins countries. We're not going back in time. We're not doing that. I'm sorry. I don't. If that's your religion, that's what you want to stick to, that's fine. It's like it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's Catholic. I don't care if it's Jewish. They're not coming over here and telling the West how to live. But I see the Muslims more than anything. And listen, I'm not saying not all bad. I'm just saying that they're dated, I would say.
Well, I would look at it
like we were too. Women couldn't vote here in this country.
I would look at it like this too, though, Damon. Well, so once again, this is look. We have people that rule above us. They believe that they're our rulers. Okay, they're better than us, which is why we keep talking everything we're talking about, right? Two different sets of rules and whatever else. They want that for us. All right, because right now, when you have creativity, when you have innovation, right? We used to thrive on that in America, right? When you allow these things to be destroyed, and you allow those pieces of your brain to kind of disappear, and no, this is the way life is going to be for you now, right? I mean, that's like, once again, that's them trying to just be the rulers, and that's just the peasants down here, and the peasants don't need nothing. We were supposed to be ruled by ourselves, right? That was the point of the republic. Yeah, you don't like that.
Well, screw them.
You're not wrong, but that's what we have to figure out how to get back to. And right now, I feel like Trump is the only person in the position to get us there.
Yeah, I know. Like I said before, you never know which way he's going to go with different things. But I would say Trump is different. That's why they tried to stop him and get in at any cost. But he still made it in because he's a fighter. So hopefully he steers in the right direction. I just want America back, dude.
I know, man. I know.
I just want and the thing is, I think it really is the fact that people haven't had that much adversity. Look at all the younger kids. I'm not saying I've been to war or anything like that, but I'm 44 years old. But you look at the younger kids, there's been no adversity. There's been no wars that they've even seen. They just hear stuff on media and social media and all that stuff. But they never hit like true adversity. But back in the day, if you think about it, when America boomed, after World War II. There was a lot of people who went to war and they saw ugly things, seeing their friends and their family die. So, but they had that sense of country and patriotism, and they fought for their country. But there's nobody out there now that is doing that. And I'm not saying I'm the one out there fighting for my country. I guess I am in a sense because I'm running for office and I'm doing the podcast. But I never fought a war. I never joined the army.
Yeah, but we've been at war for the past 25, 30 years, though, Damon, right? I mean, over in the Middle East and the war on terror. So I can't get down with that. I mean, number one, nobody's watching the same stuff anymore. There's nothing that kind of builds our culture together. Like we used to go to the movies. Oh, hey, did you see that new movie? Bro, it was awesome. Yeah. Oh, did you see what happened on that show the other day? We've been watching every week, right? Like we used to have things that connected us. Yeah. And now everybody's watching their own thing. Everybody's getting their news from their own sources. Everybody's just separated. And we lost that American cohesion. And you look at the corporatizing of America, right? Of the world, really. Everything is just getting bigger and bigger, swallowed up by these big these big companies. And there's no more small businesses. There's no more, right? So I mean, that's where you find that is in small communities, small businesses. And we really need to get back to that to kind of pull us back together.
That is a good point. Small communities, small businesses, because everything changed when everything got too big.
It becomes unwieldy.
Yeah, so that's what we lost. Churches, and communities like that, and taking God out of school. Because if you would go to church and you would have that small, tight knit church, if somebody needed some help, then you would know that they need some help. But now people don't know each other, so maybe that's what I was getting at. They don't know each other like they did before. Like everything is online, everything is social media, but it's not like a community like where I grew up in Fishtown. And that was a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. When I grew up in Fishtown in Philadelphia, and everybody knew everyone in the neighborhood. The neighborhood was tight knit. If I did something wrong, my mom got a call from somebody. I wasn't happy about it because I'm like, damn it, how did you find it out? But
and that's also like a small piece of local accountability, right? Because that if you do something wrong, Sally's mom down the corner there is going to call mom up and she's going to get that belt out, So it's like you couldn't do nothing around Sally's mom, right? So it's just one of those things where it helped you, stay on the level.
Yeah, because everyone knew everyone. I'm saying when I was a kid, I was like, oh, no, how did I find out? I was a kid. But no, I believe that's the way it should be. That was a nice way to live. Yeah. Because when we would have block parties in Philly, like everyone would come out and you knew every single person there. It was a small, tight neighborhood. It was a good way to live. And I mean, it wasn't the greatest neighborhood ever. I grew up in a bad neighborhood, but I'm not going to trash it. But there was some bad eggs in that neighborhood and surrounding areas. But yeah, it was still a good thing. And I think people are moving further and further away from each other with social media and everything else. And nobody has that human contact with people. Everything is, on Facebook and
well, not only just that either, though, Damon. Right? Here's another aspect of that too. Is look, you catch your buddy doing something he shouldn't be doing, but instead of going and correcting him and be like, bro, what are you doing right now? This is not right. You shouldn't be doing this. They're like, oh, well, man, sometimes it just happens. I mean, what are you going to do? That's okay. This is okay. We're not even getting on our friends and family anymore.
You could be right about that too. I mean, I do, but.
Well, but just in general, right? This is why I keep saying make shaming great again. And it's not to like bully or do anything like that, but it's like, guys, what you're doing right now is incorrect and you need to go ahead and change it.
Yeah, I'm with that 100%.
That should be your slogan when you run for Congress. Make shaming great again.
You think so?
I love it.
Make shaming great again. Well, what would that be? What would that acronym be? It couldn't be anything. Be MS. Yeah, no, it won't work.
Mishaga.
Yeah.
Mishaga.
So, all right, buddy. Listen, thank you very much for coming back on. I always love having you on the podcast, and obviously, you are my man, the co-host on 92.1 WVLT, Jersey Shore Radio Show, and. we'll be on, a couple times a month, and we're going to give a little bit to Jack Brangan, who ran the running mate.
We'll see how everything goes. We're just feeling through it right now, brother.
Yeah, he wants to, still stay involved and jump once, so we'll have a show here and there, maybe, and in our place, and so will Constance. So maybe with Jack or maybe with one of us. Well,
we'll see. Play it by ear, man. Look,
we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna see how it goes. But everybody, thanks for joining in tonight. Really appreciate it. Friday after Thanksgiving, everyone's probably still tired of eating all that turkey. I know I am.
I got the itis too right now, brother.
Yeah, I know. I ate so much yesterday. It was unbelievable. So, went to my mom's house. I mean, the spread was incredible.
I saw the pictures, man. You're not wrong. They had everything out there.
She even had little sticks with the notes on the type of cheese it was and all. I'm like, what is this? I'm like,
see, man, I'm over here talking about middle class, bro. You're on that fancy level over here. Damn.
No, listen, it looked fancy. I'm like, I never seen it before. I'm like, what is this? It's like, well, I figured I'd label the cheeses because everyone was coming in. We had my niece fly in from California, and I had other nieces and nephews that live outside the state, but everyone was coming. So my mom made sure she did everything special. And I walked in, I'm like, whoa. Usually it's the turkey and some stuffing and there's hors d'oeuvres, but it was a serious spread. I thought I was at a major buffet. It was pretty cool. So thanks.
That's what's up, though. That's what's up. Yeah, listen, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I know we're a little late, and I really hope you enjoyed the content tonight because these are the conversations that we need to be having, right? People need to hear them. They need to start letting some of these words sink in, craft them around, see how they fit. Do your own research, everybody. I mean, that's the best advice we got right now. We need a nation full of thinkers.
So, all right, everybody. So we're not going to do loser and painter of the week. That's going to be on Monday, but we will go into let's go into Seth's fun GoFundMe first, and then we're going to do the little clip of something I made up on AI. So if we can go to Seth. There we go.
There he is.
Well, that's actually not Seth, but it's help Jonah Eisenberg, but it goes by Seth. Seth, there he is down there. I'm sorry, I was looking at the top one. But Seth, as I said many times before, the guy almost lost his foot, and he's got a lot of hospital bills that they're really piling up. So anything you can donate, $5, $10, $20 would be great. There's a QR code there. He's a good guy. He's a little ornery sometimes, but I will be a little hyped up. I will be the same way if I almost lost my foot. And I saw one picture of his foot one time that he sent me, and he had it on his show too. But I will never look at it again. I don't ever.
I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to laugh.
No. He would laugh at it too. But
it reminds me of Mr. Deeds. You remember Mr. Deeds when he had the black foot?
Mr. Deeds. It was worse than the black foot of Mr. Deeds. So I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I know. I had bad dreams about it. But no, I mean, good guy, but it sucked what he went through. And I know what it is too. I'm dealing with me being hospitalized as well with insurance, but I'm handling that. It's fine. But yeah, he's getting smacked with hospitals. So
yeah,
but that's the man, Seth, pirate, the pirate peg leg. I call him tall as shit. I didn't even know he was that tall until he came up to New Jersey for the election party.
What is he on stilts?
Yeah, I was like, damn it, man! I didn't know you were that tall. But anyway, so we're gonna let it go. We're gonna just play the little AI thing I made with Barack Obama, how he just still keeps, effing us like crazy across the board, and then we'll just go into the outro. So thank you guys. Thanks, Pete, for coming on again, and thank all listeners out there. I appreciate it.
Remember Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Bye-bye.
Yep, I fucked the people again. You thought I was gone and Big Mike took over. Though Big Mike has a bigger penis than me, I still know how to use it to fuck New Jersey, Virginia, New York, and then some. Trump ain't got shit on me for the Russia hoax, because Big Mike will slap him with that thing.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.